It's appalling to consider that one fire has incapacitated not only Britain's biggest airport, but Europe's busiest airport. It's been knocked out for a day, and it's happened with both the primary and the backup systems having gone down at the same time, seemingly from the same source. So what it obviously highlights is a resilient failure for one of our key national infrastructure sites, and it's a big wake-up call for the UK to do better going forwards.
Is it possible to guard completely against something like this? Are there always going to be some weak points which can have a catastrophic effect like this?
Well, there will always be weak points. I mean, you can have multiple systems that fail because they're attacked at multiple points. But what you shouldn't have is a system with defensive points that can be, flawed, as it were, by the same source. That's been the big problem here. So you'd expect, for example, to have backup generators operating in a different way to the primary systems. So from that perspective, this probably is a very weak example, whereas, it is always the case that other areas could be taken down, but in a more sophisticated way.
Obviously, Heathrow, as we're saying, Heathrow has a tremendous impact as the largest airport in the UK, and it's a tremendous part of our national transport infrastructure. How involved would the government be in protection for a place like this, knowing how important it is to everyday life in Britain?
Well, I've just been hearing reports earlier today that there's been some talk that the flaw that led to this was known about, and that actually, interestingly, it was the Mayor of London's office that had been investigating that from some perspective. So it is clear that governmental sources will have been looking and assessing what Heathrow will have been up to, because although, of course, it's a private company running it as such, there is always a state interest in something as critical as this. So I think what we need to understand here is the level of government involvement in the past, and level of what compliance was achieved in response to complaints about various branches of government as to what they saw, and that will probably give us a good steer to understand what could be better done by government going forward, even when private companies are involved.
Because it does raise the question, if this could happen to our biggest national airport, could this happen to the rail network? Could this happen to telecoms infrastructure? Is this a weakness that could affect many other systems in Britain?
That is why we need an urgent national audit into all of the above and many more, because it is quite clear that if this could happen today, we didn't know enough about the potential flaws in our systems, because if we did, then we wouldn't have allowed this to happen. Or if we did know and we did allow it to happen, then there's a whole different set of problems going on there, which is of course a failure to comply with previous investigations. So either way, we haven't either acted on information or even known the information. So that's why audits required to go round all those different areas of national infrastructure, work out what resilience is there at the moment as far as we're aware, work out as a percentage, how dangerous it is in terms of likelihood to fail, and then, crucially, work out the solutions for how you improve that, harden those facilities so that they are more likely to avoid a situation that we've seen today.